welcome to Sports Time with Chris. I'm your host, Chris, and today I'll be previewing the San Francisco 49ers matchup against the Chicago Bears. And where do we want to start this week? This preview is going to be a little bit different from previous games. I think at this point in the season, we have all seen that the Niners have not lived up to their normal standard. They have not lived up to the expectations that fans had all season. There were a lot of people saying that there was a really good chance that this team would have a Super Bowl hangover, and I just don't think that's really the case. Everything that could go wrong this season has pretty much gone wrong, from off-season stuff, off the field, off-season stuff, to injuries, to execution on the football field. And this last game against the Bills was really summarized what this season has been like. So we're going to be, let's start off with the injury report for the 49ers. Out for the game: Jordan Mason, Trent Williams, Dre Greenlaw, George Odom, questionable, Aaron Banks, Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles, Talanoa Hufanga, and then doubtful is Nick Bosa. So obviously Trent Williams is a big time loss, but Jalen Moore has done a really good job. Now, he has done, like I said, a good job these last couple of weeks, but they've played in cold weather situations where really cold weather and games where your footing is not, where you're sliding around and stuff. Those games do tend to favor the offensive line more. And so this week, where it's in Santa Clara, should be a nicer game. I think we might get a little bit more of a real picture of what Jalen Moore is for this offense. And we'll see. I mean, no one's ever going to replace Trent Williams, and who knows when he's going to retire. It might be this offseason, it might be in a few years. I know he talked to LeBron James about longevity and what his process has been for, he's been in the NBA for a long, long time. He's the first player to play in the NBA with his son. I don't know. LeBron is like 41, right? He's got to be. Is he in his 40s? He's 39. Okay, wow. And then Trent, of course, is getting up there as well. So who knows? Who knows? And then, of course, on the offensive line as well, Aaron Banks. He has not played as well this season as he has in the past. And this last week, we got to see Ben Bartch step in. And again, it was a snow game, so we don't know exactly how that impacted the offensive line. Did he look better than he actually is? This will be another good test for him as well. So the whole left side of the line is getting tested. The right side of the line has been surprisingly stout this year between McKivitz and Pooney. So yeah, obviously Nick Bosa, man, who knows what's been going on with Bosa? That hip injury has been, I don't know. Obviously, without Bosa, this defense struggles a little bit, as we've seen in the last few weeks. So this defensive line is going to have to step up. And we have seen Leonard Floyd make a few plays, so hopefully he can continue to do that, and we can see other guys come up as well. So Chicago is an interesting team. I guess I should probably talk about some of their injuries as well. Ryan Bates is out, Elijah Hicks out, Roschon Johnson is out, and DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift are questionable. So obviously those are two guys that are an important part of this offense. DJ Moore is a really good wide receiver, and they really have some good wideouts over there that contest the secondary, and DeAndre Swift is fine. He's a decent running back, but we all know what Deommodore Lenoir did to him last time they played. But this Chicago's Bear team, they are sneaky. They're sneaky. And I was a little bit surprised that they let Eberflus go. What kind of pushed them over the edge was that horrific time. They've had some situations with some horrific time management, but that one where they had like 30 seconds left on the clock and somehow they completely bungled that situation. I don't know. That might have been the last straw for the ownership watching that game. They were like, yeah, that's if you're doing that at this point in the season, then we're going to move on from you. But they're a sneaky team. They lost by 6 to the Texans. They beat the Rams. They lost by 3 to the Commanders, who are looking really good. And then they lost some close ones to the Lions, Packers, and Vikings. I mean, divisional games are a little bit different, so it could be a case of that there, but still, this team has been surprisingly, they're 4-8. They've lost one more game than the Niners, so this could be a better game than some people are expecting. I know the Niners are 3.5 point favorites, so they are at home, and this is I don't think you can technically call this a trap game because the Niners have not played up to their standard this year, so it's more of I don't know. This seems like a pretty even matchup to me, honestly. And while the Niners are not technically out of the playoff race, it is a very, very uphill battle. They have to rely on other teams to lose, and it's just a tough situation to be in when you're trying to make the playoffs. And so if this team is serious about trying to make a playoff push, they're going to have to do their best to win the next 5 games. It is doable. Detroit is going to be a tough team. And this game, while I'm not going to call it a trap game, it's not, I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think it is, especially with how poorly the Niners have played this year. So let's go ahead and start with the offense. Offensively, this team is down their first 3 running backs, CMC, Jordan Mason, Elijah Mitchell. So they're down to Isaac Guerrero and Patrick Taylor. And then they signed a guy, Israel Ibanaconda, something like that. Sorry if I butchered that. This is Israel Ibanaconda. Yeah. He's supposed to be like a really speedy back. He was with the New York Jets. And the Niners do like speed backs. So, and that guy was in the Jets system, which y'all know came from the 49ers system originally. So we'll see. Brock Purdy has also not lived up to expectations as well. I mentioned in my Bills analysis video that I think there's been something going on with Purdy this season, possibly with his surgically repaired elbow, and they haven't been telling us that. And that could be a big part of the reason for why he's been hesitating, not making the plays that he usually does. He just has not looked like himself. And I think that can be a big part of it. So if he's not hurt, then this is an opportunity for him to go out and put the team on his back. You can't rely on your 4th string running back to win you games. I know Kyle Shanahan likes the running game and he wants to try to establish that as much as possible. It doesn't matter who's in at running back, but this is an opportunity for Brock. He is eligible for a contract extension this next season or this off season. He could be trying to still play for that, or who knows? If he doesn't play well enough, the Niners don't have to pay him this off season. They can wait. So he's got some expectations and some things that he wants to do as well. So from this offense, what I really want to see is, I want to see Brock take over this game, get it to your playmakers, get it to Kittle, make Kittle the focal point of this offense, because that's who should have been the focal point this whole time, honestly, and go out there and make this offense look the way it has looked the last few seasons. Because this 49ers offense they've moved the ball just fine, but there haven't been very many highlight plays. When you think of years past, the Niners have many highlight plays and signature plays. Last season from week 1 in Pittsburgh all the way through week 17, they had plays every game where there was, it was a high, they had good plays. And this year we just haven't seen that. We've seen a lot of, decent plays and good plays, but just nothing that would go on a highlight reel. And it's just a little weird. So I want to see more of that this week, especially if this team is serious about trying to push for the playoffs. They have to win out. So that's what I want to see there from this offense. Defensively, I was not very high on Caleb Williams coming out of the draft, and he's been okay. I didn't think he would be anything special. I didn't think he'd be a generational quarterback, and doesn't seem like he is, but he does hold the ball a long time, and he goes out and scrambles around and tries to make plays, and that unfortunately is very much the worst thing for the 49ers defense, because those kinds of quarterbacks are the ones that they struggle with the most. We saw that with Josh Allen last week, and we might see that again with Caleb Williams. And so I think for me, especially with Nick Bosa potentially not playing, what I really want to see is this defensive line try and stop the run, of course, which they haven't done a good job the last 2 weeks. But DeAndre Swift, Roschon Johnson, I don't know. They have a good opportunity here to potentially shut down the run game. Now, Chicago has some good wide receivers. So in the pass game, what I really, really want to see is this defensive line give Caleb Williams the Jalen Hurts treatment, where they force him to sit in the pocket. They don't let him scramble around and make plays with his feet. And then the secondary, I think, is good enough to go out and cover all those receivers that they have. And so that's what I really want to see, is strong secondary play and the defensive line holding Caleb Williams in the pocket, forcing him to throw, play quarterback. I think that's the biggest key here. And for the last aspect of this team, the special teams, they have been bad all year. Brian Schneider could be potentially coaching for his job. And so, yeah, I just want to see league average special teams play on Sunday. That is all I'm asking for. This 49ers offense has not lived up to its expectations this year. They haven't looked like they have in the past. And I think this game presents them with a good opportunity to do that. that. I want to see Brock Purdy take over this game, go out there and show that you are the leader and the future of this franchise. Defensively, force Caleb Williams to play from the pocket, stop the run, and play really good secondary. I think this is a game where the 49ers can come out and finally look like the 49ers that we are all used to, at least partially. Of course, the last two games have been blowouts, so what I really want to see is this game kept close and just go out there, play football, have fun, and show that you are still the 49ers. And I think they are going to do it. And this game will be the 49ers 23, Bears 20. So once again this week is just going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. It seems like it's just crazy busy this time of year for me and my family, and the time to record that I have is just getting shorter and shorter. So just wanted to throw this out here and share my quick thoughts on this game. And one thing that I didn't mention that I should have is it's interesting how there's this sort of boost that teams get whenever they're playing their first game after firing their head coach. It's very, very bizarre. And I was looking this up earlier, see if I can find it again, but how NFL teams after firing their head coach. So this is from October 14th. So this is, from a couple months ago, but still 38 teams have fired their coach during the regular season since 2003. Those teams have gone 17-21 straight up and 22-16 against the spread. So that is very, very interesting. And this article that I'm reading states that the 44.7% straight up win rate doesn't look great, but those teams have a combined record winning percentage of 28% prior to the head coaching change and 37.4% against the spread. So that's very interesting. Teams that fire their head coach have a pretty decent chance, almost 50-50. Well, actually, no, they're 22-16 against the spread. So I don't know why that happens. Maybe it's just an emotional boost the teams get. But, when you fire a head coach, you're most likely dysfunctional in some way. And so I think a lot of the time players get a lot of the power in that situation. They can kind of dictate how things are going to go for the next game, and then they usually fall off from there because they're players, they're not head coaches, and head coaches are supposed to plan out and figure out how to best empower their team for winning and executing at the rate that they want to. So very interesting. I don't think this is a game where I don't think they're going to win. They're going to, based on my prediction, they're going to cover the spread, right? They're going to cover 3.5 points, so 23-20. So wow, I don't think they're going to win, but it's going to be closer than people imagine. So let me know what you think. Do you think this 49ers team is going to turn things around for the rest of the season? Are they still a playoff contender, or are they just going to keep struggling like they have all year? Let me know what you think. Let me know what your prediction for this game is. And once again, thank you for listening. I appreciate every single one of you who do. Please, if you haven't yet, go like this video, subscribe to the channel, and help me grow. Thank you once again. This has been Storytime with Chris.